How do we become separated from ourselves while still conscious? People think that dissociative identity disorder only occurs to a small portion of people who become institutionalized and are removed, from society. But most people suffer from dissociative identity disorder because they have roles that they play. Um, they have roles that they play at work where, they have to interact with clients, customers in a certain way. At home, they have to react in a certain way. With friends, they act in a certain way. From a young age, we're taught to develop and cultivate these different faces, these different masks for different occasions, and it's normalized. Politicians are glorified for putting on the face that the most people would appreciate in order to get into office. Movie stars are glorified for putting on a good act. So we're encouraged to act, and acting is a conscious dissociative state when you think about it, because you're pretending to be something that you're not. You're escaping yourself to become what is desired or what is asked for or what is required. Um, and when we watch movies, for instance, the only way to really enjoy a movie is if the acting is such that the movie seems real even though it's not. That in itself is an escape from self, because in order to believe a lie, you have to be not integrated. You have to be separated yourself in order to become immersed in a lie, which is what entertainment is. It's fiction, most of it, and it brings in a lot of money, and people like the feeling of escape. So whenever you watch a good movie, um, and you identify with the characters, and you for those 2 hours believe what you see to be true because that's how you enjoy a movie, that is a dissociative state. You're conscious, but not quite. But it's normalized, and therefore you don't realize it. But that is a dissociative state when you identify with characters and you take those characters home with you. There are a lot. Like I used to listen to Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain, and there's no way that you can listen to a song that's destructive or watch a movie that's violent and not take part of the characteristics of those actors and performers home with you, that you admire, that one character that you identify with. You're going to take that character home with you. That musician that sings good songs or sings clever songs, you're going to take on part of their characteristics. So, and the sad thing about Kurt Cobain and Jimi Hendrix is that they were both demonically oppressed and possessed. So when you have these characters, and they've been immortalized, of course, so that they're able to go home with the younger generations as well. So, a part of, so whenever you listen to music or you watch movies and you're taking home aspects of these characters that you admire and thus imitate, that is a dissociative state. And I'm telling you, the demonic forces, like when they influence people, and those people act as characters who influence us through our imitation and normalization of their behavior. And I'm telling you, in entertainment and news, everything that is obscene and violent and sexual is being we're being bombarded with it, and we're taking it home with us, and it's making us create these altars that identify with the obscene. That's why movies are getting more and more sexual and violent, because the aspect of ourselves that identify with what we've been fed are asking for that. The thrill is what we live for in an altered state, not for the integration of the body, not for the nourishment of the body and the the respect for truth. No, the thrill is what you live for when you no longer have a center, and that's all that you live for if you don't have a center. So we live in a dissociative conscious state, and that is why people self-destruct, even without being, in a mental institution, because there are aspects of them that they're conscious of, but they can't control because they don't realize that every time they watch a violent movie or listen to violent lyrics or portray a role that is harmful to them, they are feeding that dissociative conscious state. And we have to stop feeding that because it's very subtle and it can trick you into making you think that it is you. And if you allow yourself to get carried too far away, you'll no longer have a center and you'll have no interest in truth. So we have to maintain an interest in truth and not allow ourselves to be consciously dissociated from ourselves.